When you think of a great singer, you probably picture a voice that's smooth, powerful, and perfectly on key. But Willie Nelson's voice, it was none of those things. It was thin, nasal, and sounded like it had seen a few too many smoky barrooms. Yet, for over 60 years, that voice spoke a kind of truth that connected with millions. How did a man with a bad voice become one of the greatest storytellers in music history? This is the story of Willie Nelson. Willie's voice wasn't about perfection, it was about emotion. It was a sound shaped by time, heartbreak, and a whole lot of wisdom. Vocal coaches and even scientists have studied his unique style for decades, trying to figure out his magic. What they found was a master of intimacy. He had this incredible rhythmic freedom, almost like a jazz singer. He wouldn't sing on the beat. He'd sing around it, delaying a word or stretching a vowel just enough to pull you closer. His voice had this weathered texture, the cracks, the breathiness, the subtle tremors. It wasn't manufactured in a studio. It was human, and he rarely, if ever, raised his voice. Instead, he used quiet intensity. When he sang, "Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain," you didn't just hear the words, you felt the story. There was a quiet resignation in his delivery, the sound of a man who knows love and loss are two sides of the same coin. He wasn't just performing a song, he was living it. And that truth is what made him unforgettable. But Willie wasn't just a singer. He was a poet of simplicity. He wrote some of the most enduring songs in American music without fancy metaphors or grand declarations. He just told stories with plain, honest lines that went straight to the heart. Think about the song Crazy. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for crying. It's more than a love song. It's a confession of helplessness that everyone has felt at some point. Or Take on the Road Again. It's not just a song about touring. It's a hymn to freedom, loneliness, and the endless horizon. Willie didn't write to impress music critics. He wrote to bear witness to the lives of ordinary people, the lovers, the dreamers, the wanderers. He gave a voice to feelings that so many of us couldn't put into words. Though he was a Texas boy through and through, Willie helped spark two revolutions in country music. First, he was drawn to the Bakersfield sound, championed by guys like Buck Owens and Merle Haggard. They were rejecting the polished, string-heavy sound of Nashville for something raw and guitar-driven. When Willie moved back to Texas in the 70s, he took that rebellious spirit and cranked it up to 11. In Austin, at a legendary venue called the Armadillo World Headquarters, he started blending country with rock, blues, and folk. He shared stages with rock stars and hippies, creating a new sound called outlaw country. His 1973 album, Shotgun Willie, was a game-changer, loose, personal, and gritty. Then came Red-Headed Stranger, an album so sparse it was basically just his voice, his guitar, and silence. This wasn't just about breaking rules. It was about artistic freedom. He was reclaiming country music's soul and, in doing so, redefining what it could be. And you can't talk about Willie Nelson without talking about Trigger. No instrument in country music is more iconic than his battered Martin N20 classical guitar. He bought it from a pawn shop in 1969, and it's been his constant companion ever since. Trigger is covered in scratches, dents, and even has a huge hole worn into it from decades of playing. It's been repaired so many times, but Willie refused to ever replace it. Why? Because Trigger sounded like home. Its warm, slightly nasal tone was the perfect match for Willie's voice. He didn't just play the guitar. He had a relationship with it. He once said, "Trigger doesn't play me. I play with him." That guitar isn't just an instrument. It's a symbol of endurance, loyalty, and the beauty of imperfection. It's a physical manifestation of his entire career. Willie didn't just tour, he lived on the road. For more than 6 decades, he played around 150 shows a year. His tour bus, the Honeysuckle Rose, was his real home. His band, simply called Family, was just that. His sister Bobby was on piano for over 50 years, and his drummer, Paul English, was a lifelong friend. Their connection on stage was almost telepathic, intuitive, joyful, and utterly real. For Willie, home was wherever he was playing that night, and when you saw him live, you believed it. The energy wasn't about flashy production. It was about a group of people who loved making music together, sharing stories with an audience that felt like part of the family. He created a community every single night, one song at a time. Even into his late 80s and 90s, Willie refused to slow down. He released album after album, reflecting on life, mortality, and survival. He faced serious health issues, but he kept going, touring with his sons and creating new music. When people asked him why he didn't retire, he'd just say, "I don't know how to stop." Music wasn't a job for him. It was like breathing. He didn't make music to be remembered. He made it because he had to. And in that relentless drive, he achieved a kind of immortality. So, why will Willie Nelson's legacy endure forever? Because he was real. In a world of curated images and manufactured pop stars, Willie was the truth. He sang for the farmer, the truck driver, the heartbroken lover, the restless wanderer. His music wasn't an escape from reality. 'Twas a connection to it. He wasn't a saint. He was a sinner who wore his flaws like a badge of honor, and that's why we loved him. His spirit lives on in the strum of a guitar on a back porch, in the silence before the last note of a heartbreaking ballad, and in the strength we find in his songs. As long as there's a highway to travel, a story to tell, or a heart that refuses to be tamed, Willie Nelson will still be singing. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the legends of music. We'll see you in the next one.